Hi, this is Sadie. Welcome. So I hear your arms and/or your hands are bothering you. It's possible it could be from your neck, it could be from upper back or shoulders. How do we allow ourselves to get that permission to provide gentle range of motion so that maybe we can take some of the inflammation out of that area, at least bring some circulation without adding more limitations or pain later in the day? So that's what this gentle practice is about. In our chair, one without arms is useful. And some of us are going to sit pretty far forward on our chair. Others of us are going to have our blanket rolled up. We're going to have a natural support for our lumbar back. We're going to let ourselves be held and supported, maybe even a tall back chair so that you can let yourself gently lean your head in on some of these. As we start rolling through our shoulders, do your hands kind of glide on your legs, or do you move yourself? Let your hands just hang at your sides. That's a matter of what feels better, okay? And then maybe you start to turn with your elbows. That changes the dynamic of your shoulder rolls. Does it feel better, worse, same? Do what works for you. And the other way, maybe starting again just with the shoulder blades, breathing past your belly button. And eventually some big elbow. And then letting ourselves either holding on to the side of our chair if we need that for stability, or just letting our arms hang or rest on our sides. We're going to open our ear over our shoulder. And so that is the goal. I'm not trying to look at my shoulder yet. I'm just trying to open that ear up over my shoulder, not letting it get stuck there, but letting it just gently fall open and then feeling that other side. Maybe you go back and forth. Maybe you can only handle this a couple breaths at a time, and that's okay. We inhale the center, exhale to let our ears soften over our shoulders. Maybe you're still holding this whole time. There are a couple variations we can do on this. One would be to add a hand to the shoulder. Maybe you need a little arm circle on that side first before the hand feels comfortable to rest on the shoulder. And then it just adds just a little more reminder that it's not just that we allow ourselves to release on this side, but it's that we're encouraging openness on the other side. So that's one thing we could do. Maybe I circle a little bit first. Another option would be to let that arm, instead of adding the weight up, to just add a little space across, whether it reaches for the arm, or you know that I'm always keen on actually engaging the muscles of that arm to draw it back into socket. And so grabbing your waistband might be the better choice. In front of, some people can still reach behind, even with some limitations. You can. Again, do I grab my arm or do I grab that waistband? Good. To your second side if you haven't already. So which feels better? In front of, behind, on the lap, grabbing a waistband. And then, if you haven't already, we are going to create a little permission for some arm circles, just letting the weight of those arms take that. Maybe you didn't even realize how much tension and shortness you had, but letting it take that area and distribute out and away. If it feels okay, some of us can't get our hands up to shoulder height, but if it feels okay, we're even going to wave, bringing our hands about shoulder height, rotating at the palms. And then can you start to really exaggerate between the shoulder blades? You draw them back. If you were circling, circle the other way to draw the bottom of your shoulder blades back and down. If you're waving, keeping your shoulder blades back. You saw me even kind of hinge and rock, and which is a fine. There's 10 reasons you could be doing that, neurologically or physically, or emotionally, but maybe can we concentrate now just on moving between the shoulder blades? Notice I'm not trying to go my fastest. I'm trying to let my breath be a part of this motion. Good. And then letting yourself just draw that arm out and back with our palm rotated backward. And notice even I had a little bit of height in my shoulder and a kink in my wrist. I want to try to have alignment from my middle finger through the center of my wrist, through my elbow, through my shoulder socket. When I do, it's going to find the areas to stretch a little bit more. It's going to keep me from doing further damage. And then I start to just really open those hands. You can open and shut if that feels okay. You can even take one fingertip at a time in or out. And maybe you're not holding this one. Maybe you need to pulse your hand forward to rest and then pushing through that palm as you reach back, just back of center. Maybe you're holding and adding some of that arm stuff. And again, it's the elongation, middle finger, wrist, elbow, shoulder socket. It's not holding that hand out there, holding that arm out there, pushing back. Do you feel the difference? Can you see the difference too? Let's try the other side. Opening and allowing yourself to extend. Middle finger, center of that wrist, elbow, shoulder socket alignment. To where does that breath go? From where can it release? Is this a pulsing? Does it feel better to just kind of extend through that arm for short periods of time? Do I start to really open? Open and shut them, open and shut them. You get to do this with kids around, little preschool songs. Maybe you just use the tips of the fingers. But again, drawing that strength for the arm to hold the arm, middle finger, middle of that wrist, elbow, shoulder socket alignment. And that hand, maybe it's reaching past your shoulder. Maybe it's just coming back in alignment. With that rotation, feeling the work of muscles that have been creeped up, tight, protective, maybe, yeah? Good. And we're going to try and walk a little bit with our arms. Take this back just a bit. Okay. Most cells walk forward and back. And again, we're hinging at our hips, letting ourselves reach from between our shoulder blades. Do you want to add a chin tuck? Whatever feels better. I like to inhale and reach forward and breathe against my thighs to remember to keep the low back stable and straight. And then exhale, use the strength in my belly to come up. But at the beginning, you saw I was doing the reverse just for you guys. To exhale and curl. Inhale, how long and tall can you feel? And then we're going to start to just kind of move across. Maybe you can take both hands to one leg, or if you have a table nearby, this is a good one where you can let yourself slide across the table. Is your head willing to go with? How many of us kind of do this? And part of it is because you're watching, right? Like a turtle, with a shell. Can you let your ears follow the space between your arms? Whether you're on your legs or you're on a tabletop or a desk near you. Forward, backward, with your breath. And then maybe you start alternating left, then center, right, then center. Can you add again that openness through the neck where your ears are willing to follow your arms? Good. especially as you go side to side, right? Making sure that you're not rotating and kinking that low back, but instead hinging at the hips and letting yourself connect your belly to your thigh on that side. Does that make sense? Look, I'm complimenting you. I'm giving you a little bit of a yawn, giving yourself that permission. How is it different from one side to the other? That's where we really, when we get curious, that's where we really start to learn a little bit more. So now again, if you have a high back chair, or if you're close enough to the wall and you want to just put yourself back on the wall, we're going to aim for chin tucks, okay? So letting yourself have your low back feel stable, bottom of your shoulder blades connected, relaxed on the chair. We're going to draw our chin toward our Adam's apple, and then feel like you could bring it just up under your ears a little bit more. You saw even I was able to lengthen a little bit. Relax. Is our relaxed kind of turtleneck or kind of tucked chin or kind of rounded shoulder? Okay. We're going to just keep trying to engage with the exhale. You exhale, chin towards your Adam's apple and up under your ears. That's a real elongation for those neck vertebrae. Inhale to relax. Exhale, chin towards your Adam's apple and up under your ears. Inhale, relax. Good. Engage those chin tucks, and it's two directions. Yeah. To get it to where we naturally have a curve in our neck, but some of us have too much of a curve at the top or too much of a curve at the bottom, or we have it rounded or even straight and flat. And the goal is to be able to draw your chin towards your Adam's apple and then up under your ears until that mid back gets to flatten out. There's a natural curve right above my tailbone, and then it draws that natural curve, which you can't see perfectly with this today, but that natural curve into your neck. Some of us will feel it kind of all the way down into our armpits or over the cap of our shoulders, into our chest or upper back. But as you exhale, and then notice, can I get both sides of my chin, or is it one side that wants to do more than the other, right? Isn't that interesting? How much tension we accidentally have had built in there. So can you get to where not only do you exhale, chin towards your Adam's apple up under your ears, but you actually are able to start to straighten out. 3 more. And then letting yourself have permission to gently reach. Does this feel okay today? Can you rotate through that palm? Inhale up and over. Filling. Does it feel like you want to hold today? If you do, make sure that the opposite side is coming hip to hip, waist to waist, ribs to ribs, armpit to armpit, neck to neck, jaw to jaw, temple to temple. Or maybe you just inhale to open like a palm tree, exhale to soften. Inhale and exhale. Good, as you care to, right? Whether you're swaying and pulsing in this or holding, when we're not feeling well, the goal is just, can I start to get a place that feels safe and feels comfortable, even if it doesn't feel all better? Can it start to feel comfortable so that I know I'm engaging that range of motion? I know that I'm bringing a little circulation. Maybe it can move away some of the inflammation or move away some of the tightness. And as we do, again, we're not lifting with our cap, with the top of our shoulder. We're letting ourselves rotate and open. So if your arm doesn't get overhead at all, that's okay, because I want you to keep the divot. I want you to keep the hinge in the shoulder, and let the stretch be instead on the side body, the side of the neck, the side. And if you can't get that arm over, just go back to what we did at the beginning, which is just with your neck. Okay? Just as we were doing to make sure we're trying to trigger just a little bit of attention specifically to our neck, we're going to do the same with the muscles between our shoulder blades. So as you exhale, we're just trying to take the bottom of your shoulder blades and juice an orange. Does that seem possible? Breathe in, breathe out, juice an orange. Right? So again, if I say just pull your shoulder blades together, a lot of us pinch up at the top. How about concentrate on the bottom of your shoulder blades, squeezing that orange. Give yourself place to relax, to release as you inhale. And realize, as you exhale, is it the muscles between your shoulder blades that you're working the most, or is it that the muscles in the front of your body are a little short and tight by practice lately, and that just opening them is the effort? Good, 2 more. If it feels okay, letting ourselves kind of build up on that sliding forward, we're going to see if we can reach back and hold the side. It might be closer to the bottom, but hold hold your chair just behind your hips, or even at your hips, and hinge at your belly, or hinge at your hips as you breathe your belly against your thighs. Can you feel, are your hands engaged enough? Sometimes they're not, right? Sometimes our hands aren't working as part of this pain and misalignment. But if they are, can you get to where, even if it's just the tips of your fingers or it's the strength of your grip, you're kind of hanging from there like super people. We inhale with gravity, belly and thighs connected. Hear your exhale. And for those who know that Dirga Swasam Pranayama, that more advanced breath practice, can you actually inhale not just down into your body then, but can you inhale to the right and left side of your collarbone and your ribs and your belly, maybe even your pelvis? And can you exhale out of your pelvis and your belly and your ribs and empty your collarbone completely? Good. Finishing as you scoot back to, again, trust that chair is there and realize what other parts of your body may have been limited a little bit. We're going to just pulse through our legs just a little. Okay. Inhale, letting yourself extend through your leg. Point and flex if it feels okay. For some of us, the point and flex doesn't feel that great because the pain from our neck is also maybe being mirrored in our low back. And so instead, does it feel better to you to just get a little bit of range of motion in those hips? Just bring yourself up and down. If you can, drying out. And then lastly, little wrist and ankle circles. Whether you straighten your legs and you just are resting on your heels on the ground, whether you hold one leg up at a time, just wrist and ankle circles. You can have your elbows bent. I've got mine even resting on the chair at this point, or you can have them hanging. And making sure that work that you did that was focused gets all the way out to the outsides of your body. And then hands at your heart, find gratitude to yourself. Continue moving. It's the thing that reminds us that we're alive, moving with each breath, moving with intention, and moving through your body. It is your vessel. Express yourself. Thank you for being with me. I'm Sayde.